My name is Sean Dusek. I'm Superintendent of Schools here in the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District, and I wanted to thank you all for giving me an opportunity to reflect on a journey that we've been on with personalized learning and a new strategic plan. And so with that, I wanted to just reflect on a quote that I ran into the other day. And there's a couple different ways to take that quote, all right? The pessimist would say, hey, they might have pitchforks, they're running me out of here. That's an important thing to consider. But I know, and you know, our district has always had a lot of great results. A lot of things, great things happening here, and the people that are chasing us actually want to be us. We hear that all the time. We're leaders in the state because of our results. The thing is, though, if they are carrying pitchforks, why is that? And that gets me back to Mr. Heyman's change matrix. What did we miss? And that's part of my reflection. Some of the things that we missed, some of the things we're aspiring to, and how do we keep moving forward so that our culture then moves into our strategic plan. As you know, 8,800 kids, 43 schools. Every school has that special touch. They're unique in some way. Believe me, I hear that all the time. Well, I'm special. Give me another teacher. Well, we only have so much, as you know, and we make do with what we have, and we do it very, very well. We continue to get good results, even though things are shrinking a little bit. We continue to get good results, even though we're becoming more diverse, both culturally and economically. We've seen that every day. Kids are coming to our schools with more and more needs, just like they are across the country. We're not special in that regard. But where we are special is in the fact that we have a commitment to the 3 R's. And it's not the typical 3 R's: rigor, relevance, and relationships. And relationships, as you know, is my personal focus, and it's the foundation of everything we do. And I believe you've all bought into that. But again, here's where the pitchforks might come from. Do we really know that that's a priority? Do we really know that our kids believe that? We ask them occasionally. I'm challenging you to ask them constantly. You should be doing formative assessments every day with your kids as you walk the halls. We're in a bit of a transition right now. You've seen this before. I know I was raised in that classroom with one person that had all the knowledge. I know a lot of our parents are very familiar with that. I guarantee you a lot of our taxpayers who no longer have kids in schools, that's what they expect. I don't think that's the world that we live in anymore. And I think the future is changing rapidly. That's an industrial model. We're moving forward. That's part of our strategic plan with flexibility, opportunities outside the classroom. There's been a lot of research done on what do kids want. I think kids have always wanted a caring teacher. They want to feel like there is somebody in that school that loves them. I know I say that a lot. Occasionally I get a little bit of chuckles on that. But that's the basis of what we need to have happen with every single child. That's how we start the engagement. Then, what they're learning, is that relevant to them? And how do we know if it's relevant? I get it, there are certain basics that have to happen in order for kids to be prepared to explore the things that they want to keep looking into. But I think we can do a better job of real-time feedback. I think we can do a better job of helping our kids be more efficient learners. We see kids now inundated with information. We have to help them look beyond what's sent to them or what's filtered to them. You're seeing it now with Facebook, Twitter. They're filtering information. They're isolating people. How do we break that isolation even though it's social media? We want kids to see opposing viewpoints. We want to make sure kids understand how to find sources. Is it real information or is it just an opinion? And of course we want them to be good people. Okay? How are we doing that? We're doing it every day in some places. And I'm wondering, because I see some of these people and some of the staff in these pictures, Is this opportunity for kids just personnel driven, or is it a part of our culture? Who will step up next? We're lucky because we're putting in leadership teams at each school. And that's going to do a lot for us. But I'm also nervous as I reflect upon the last 2 waves with Ed Elements. There was a lot of resistance at the beginning, especially at the middle school. We made some adjustments. We brought in the real practitioners, and I think we made headway with those 2 waves. We're at the wave 3 with the high schools. It's going to be real interesting to see how that works. So I encourage you to continue to build your leadership teams, to make sure that you're not the only voice. You're not the only one with the giver of knowledge. It's a team effort at your school. We're trying to do that at the district level. You know, like I said, some people think that our kids are going to need to socialize with technology and artificial intelligence in the future. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know that collaboration is going to be a big part of what our kids are going to need to do. And with social media and technology, it's very easy to get isolated. So how do we facilitate opportunities that are like what they're going to need to pull off when they're in the world of work? We know technology is going to be right there. They can't be afraid of it. So what are those other opportunities that we don't even think about it anymore? It's right there. I run into this a lot when I go around and I'm talking about what we're trying to do as a district. There's people that they want to go to the good old days. Okay? Somebody a long time ago said the good old days are just old. Because we think back to only the good things that happened in the old days. We forget some of those other things that really weren't so great. So how do we overcome this as we progress and we make changes? It's about messaging. Give them a why. Why are we doing this? Why are we opening up our days and making it 24/7? It's because learning doesn't just happen between 8 and 3. We all know that. For some of our kids, the only positive thing in their life is when they walk through our doors. More and more kids are like that. We are becoming the wraparound services in a big way for our kids. We have to provide clarity. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that. What exactly are we trying to accomplish here? And how are we going to get there? Again, it's about voice. Can we hear all stakeholders? And then are we willing to learn from our mistakes? I have made a ton of mistakes the last 4 years in this position. There is no doubt. And some of you are not afraid to let me know. That's okay. That's what we need to be able to be comfortable with, is learn from our mistakes. I ran into a retired teacher a couple days ago, and I was reminded of this little cartoon. We got to guard against this. If you ever have a leader that says, hey, let's innovate so that we can keep doing what we're doing. Well, if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to get the same results that we get. And I get it. Some of our high schools have over 90% graduation rate. Well, some of that might be because we have other alternatives that only have 30 or 40% graduation rate. Let's be mindful of when a kid comes in, let's make sure that the kid doesn't have to fit the system. We're going to fit the system to the kid. It doesn't matter where they are. In order to do that, we have to change our mindset. We have to go from the default answer of no to how are we going to make this work? I credit that to Mr. Walker. He gave that to me the other day in a restaurant. Appreciate that. But that's vital. We still have to hold kids accountable. We still have to make sure that we hold them to high standards. We provide a rigorous environment. We challenge them in an effort to have them become lifelong learners. But let's not start with the default of no. That's too easy. And that turns off 30, 40, 50% of our kids. particularly as they get going into 4th grade and up. I talked a little bit about clarity and accountability. That's the framework that does it for us. Okay, the core 4 from Ed Elms. I've learned a lot from that group. I know that they're not the most experienced practitioners, but I can tell you their concepts are things that education has wanted to do for 50, 60 years. I wish when I was in school this was in place, particularly flexible environment, and more importantly, the opportunity for me to own my learning. That to me is the key to personalized learning. Student reflection and ownership. Do they have some choices? And then how do we build their confidence to take the next step as they keep moving forward? So just to wrap up a little bit, a lot of people, they focus on the end result. We all see it with the PEAKS exams. We see it with our graduation rate and all that kind of stuff. We see it with dropouts. We see it with the kids that maybe get arrested. Not so successful, right? And that's what people talk a lot about. That's all they see. But I want to remind you, the biggest thing that I have to reflect upon is your work below the surface. I sometimes forget that because I just see or hear from that parent complaining. But I want you to know that that is what I do over and over, is reflect upon your hard work, your disappointments and how you handle it, your ability to persevere. I commend you for all of that and all of that work because we are moving forward. Am I nervous about Wave 3? A little bit. But I also know that I've got one of the best teams I've ever seen. As long as we stay together, learn from each other, we don't need to worry about what it looks like if we fail. We just need to help each other, pick each other up, and keep moving forward. I thank you for the time to reflect, and we will wrap it up. Thank you very much.